Okay, if you're interested to find out what would happen if you were taken into quarantine by the state in Thailand, then do listen to this next interview. I'm with Dave Jackson from Canada, who is still in Thailand, actually, because things didn't go to plan. Dave, thanks for agreeing to this interview. Talk me through it. Let's start with what happened. You came over for the New Year.
Yeah, that's right. So I came over just before Christmas and the New Year, and just did the regular old Thailand thing. Did my shopping, did my partying and drinking and eating and all that good stuff, and enjoying Thailand. I usually come about like 3-4 times a year since 2006, so I've been here quite a bit. So it was nice to be back after 2 years. But then New Year's, we got together. We went to Donglor, had a little New Year's party, and everybody at the place tested positive.
Ah, so when did you take the COVID test? Like, so how soon after?
It was January 3rd, so I was completely asymptomatic. Nothing, no cough, no fever, nothing. But my friends all started to message me saying I should get tested. And I was supposed to leave soon on my flight home. And so I bought like 20 rapid tests.
Yeah.
And went ahead, and it was positive. So I was thinking, I was like, I'm supposed to report this, but do I want to? Because I saw the hellholes and stuff that, they've been sending some people to quarantine, and also like some huge medical bills and so on. So I thought long and hard about reporting it or not. I thought maybe I could self-quarantine, maybe lay low, order grab taxi until I'm better, grab food. But I decided to report it mainly because I know that in order to get onto a flight, you got to get a PCR test.
Yeah.
And I know that you could test positive even weeks later. That's why they give you that recovery certificate. So I didn't want to take the chance of like 2-3 weeks later getting tested positive and having to do a second quarantine, because what a piss off that would have been.
Yeah.
So
where did you report it? Where did you go?
I just called my hotel. I just said, hey, I tested positive. Can you guys give me a PCR test? Because they do them downstairs, actually, at a loft hotel. So, yeah, that's what they did. And they were kind of shocked. They were dumbfounded. They're like, oh, wow, we got a positive. So,
and then how was you treated, and what were the next steps that took you to where you are now?
Yeah, so Aloft was cool. They were really nice. However, I assumed, and I kind of begged and pleaded. I said, yo, I got no symptoms. You guys are an ASQ hotel. You guys are set up for quarantine. Everywhere in the world that I know of, you could just quarantine at your own hotel. Could I just stay here? I'll pay whatever you need. And they're like, no, we're going to send you to the hospital. I was like, well, I don't need a hospital, because I feel fine. And they're like, no, it's a hospital with an E. And I was like, is that French? And they're like, no, it's a hotel hospital. And I was like, oh my God, give me a break. And they're like, yeah, you got to go. And so they told me it would be like,
was you moved in a proper taxi, which was like, you were sealed in it? How did they transport you to the hospital?
Well, I think it was kind of partially English or language barrier, because they told me an ambulance is coming. So I had this picture in my head of this like full on ambulance and everything. And I was like, oh God, I got to film this. But freak out everybody at home. Yeah. But really it was just a van with, plexiglass in the back. And they had these dudes who all showed up who looked like they were from Chernobyl. In fact, it's more Chernobyl here than Chernobyl was when I went there. That's
amazing. And so they took you to the hotel. What hospital? What's it like?
Yeah, so when you get downstairs, it's okay. First, they told me the name. So they said, okay, we're gonna send you. And I looked it up, and it looks nice on Google, 3 stars, and it's got good reviews, whatever else, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I can handle that. That's cool. But what they didn't tell me is I guess it's like their staff hotel or something, because there's no reception. There's just a couple white suits, and they take your blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. And they were nice. They were cool, but it was eerie, and it's extremely, the hotel itself. I guess it's an old staff hotel. Like it's really run down and creepy.
Are there other
Um,
people staying there at the moment as well that are in sort of
I think
quarantine?
so. I only saw Thai people. I think the Thai people actually pay extra to be here rather than the cardboard bed kind of facilities that you see. So it kind of made me, I like to complain.
So were they keeping you in the picture in terms of what was going to happen and what to be expected?
Nothing, nothing. No, it's just complete, like, it you know, as I said, it was kind of dirty and kind of freaky in that kind of sense because, nobody would say what it costs. Nobody said what's going to go on, nothing like that. So they just said, here's your room, go upstairs for 10 days. And I was just like, okay. And it just kind of went up there and,
Shut the
you know,
door. And
shut the doors, creepy vibes, and didn't really know what to do, but the internet works and it's fast. So that was great. I mean, oh my God, without the internet, I can just see how, I mean, for me, I'm pretty strong minded. And even with the isolation, I'm fine, but I can see how like a lot of people would be like totally, have a nervous breakdown just by not knowing what's going on or being scared or something
and
like
not
that.
being able to go out your hotel room.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
How many days?
And
How many days?
so I'll give you a little tour. So, it doesn't look so bad. The food's really good. It's surprised. I was really concerned that the food was going to be like substandard or garbage or just, it would just really make the experience a lot worse. But it's good Thai food that grandma makes.
Uh, and how much is it going to cost you?
God, I don't know. They won't say. The people downstairs have me on a line app. It's like called like Nurse Hotel or something.
Oh, okay, good.
And they always just say someone's going to get back to me, but nobody ever will get back to me. I've read online, some tourists have had to pay like tons of money, but they were in actual hospitals. So it might cost a lot of money, or it might it might be really cheap. Surprisingly, I don't know.
So you don't even know,
Yeah.
like, how many days are you into this quarantine now?
So this is my seventh day. I pleaded with them last night, actually, that I finally tested negative yesterday. So I sent the picture of it, and I said, "Look, December 31st is when I got the virus. Blah 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 blah. Can I just leave tomorrow?" And miraculously, they said yes, and they said, "We'll give you a COVID certificate. You can leave tomorrow." And I was like, "Ah!" So I guess that will be 8 days of quarantine.
Yeah, good news. And then how do you now got to get your flight back? I take it you've sorted that out, or what's happened now?
Yeah, so I've extended the flight. Lucky it didn't cost me any money, so that's all good. I don't think insurance will cover this anyways because I'm asymptomatic. So I think the insurance kind of says, if I'm confined to the hospital and having lung problems or something, they'll cover it. But if I'm just here in a random hotel, it's on me.
Yeah, what an experience, eh?
Yeah,
You went for a holiday and you had an extended holiday in isolation.
yeah. And it was good on the Instagram stories, when the white suits like showed up to the door and I answered the door and I'm like, hey, and just all the people at home are just horrified, it's it's made it look a lot worse than it is. So I'd say, it's not the worst experience in the world, but it is, it's I'm lucky to have a little bit extra cash so I can afford to be here. And I have the time where I can easily extend. But it's, if I was telling the Thai authorities, like kind of giving them my advice, I'd say to try and allow people to stay in their hotel rooms if they're asymptomatic, because that's how they do it around the world. And I don't think it's really causing problems or chaos anywhere else.
There's just so much uncertainty. I
Yeah.
understand both sides. I can understand exactly why the government are trying
Yeah.
to.
I mean, I wouldn't want a positive case necessarily next door to me in my fancy hotel either. So
Yeah,
that
that
makes
could walk
sense.
out. That's the problem. You say, yeah, you can isolate.
Yeah.
No one's actually stopping you from going out, mixing with other tourists, other people, and passing the issue. But it's interesting for people that test positive that live here, that in many cases, the direction we're getting now is you can isolate from home. Becomes a little bit confusing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. I mean, I don't know. With the whole Omicron thing, from what I heard, half of Europe's going to get it in the next few weeks or whatever. And I'm from Canada, and we used to have these huge waves or whatever, and now we're like, Choom! So I think it's just the way the world's going, and eventually it's going to hit Asia too. So I mean, I not that we want to have it or spread it or whatever, but I think they should come up with some plans, because I don't think they're gonna. If they get the waves like the rest of the world, there's no way to put everybody in a hospital. And
Just, I guess at the moment, let's be grateful that it doesn't seem to be a killer and it's not mutated.
yeah, exactly. I mean, if everybody, I had my vaccine, so I don't know if that contributed to me being asymptomatic or not, but nothing. So I mean, it's I'm glad that I'm not out there spreading it. But as far as like symptoms go, I never had any breath issues or fever or anything, so that's nice.
Yeah, strange. Okay, Dave,
Mm-hmm.
let's wrap this up now. I'm going to stop recording and
Okay.
don't go anywhere because I want to just have a little chat before we go.
Yeah,
But
sure.
thanks very much for agreeing to share your story with everyone.
Of course.